For as long as we can remember, Robert Mugabe has been one of the great villains of our time, and rightly so. He took one of Africa's richest countries in both natural resources and human potential and reduced it to grinding poverty. Right from the beginning, he was motivated not by what was good for his people, but by what would keep him in power. Complicit in the massacre of as many as 20,000 rival supporters in the 80s, ruthlessly determined to make Zimbabwe a one-party state ruled by just one man. As the country and its economy spiralled, he made scapegoats out of his enemies, and that made matters worse. In just 16 years, up to 2006, life expectancy dropped from the age of 62 to just 36. He blamed the white farmers first to shore up his support, turning his machete-wielding mobs loose on them and confiscating thousands of farms. That caused an agricultural disaster, famine and rampant inflation. Prices doubled every 24 hours. The nation's currency collapsed. He then blamed Western companies threatening to seize their assets, causing an overnight flight of capital out of the country. Over the last decade, millions of Zimbabweans have had to flee too, escaping rampant unemployment in the fastest shrinking economy in Africa. And through it all, Robert Mugabe is thought to have been siphoning off a massive personal fortune, selling the lives of his soldiers in foreign wars for dirty diamond money, taking for himself the best farmland in his country. The good news is this has not been an old-fashioned bloody African coup. The men in uniform are following the constitution, almost to a fault, you might say. The bad news is the elite around Mugabe are part of the problem, some of them linked by UN reports to the looting of other nations' wealth, steeped in the blood of massacres in the 80s and the rigging of elections. As far back as a decade ago, there were calls from governments and respective figures like Desmond Tutu for Robert Mugabe to be investigated by the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity. He may be 93, but should he now be allowed to evade justice?